Discovery. Commander Sarah Chen stared through the viewport of her scout ship at the massive vessel drifting in the darkness between Mars and Jupiter. The warship's hull gleamed with an otherworldly iridescence, its surface unmarred despite decades of exposure to space debris. Her team had tracked its energy signature for weeks, but nothing had prepared them for its sheer scale. No life signs detected, Lieutenant Rodriguez reported from his station. But there's something else. The quantum readings are unlike anything in our database. Sarah nodded, her eyes fixed on the mysterious craft. Any response to our hails? None, Commander. But the ship's systems are active. It's just watching us. The decision to board wasn't an easy one, but humanity needed every advantage they could get. The Nexus Empire's expansion had already claimed 3 outer colony worlds. This ghost ship might hold the key to evening the odds. As Sarah's team crossed through the airlock, their boots magnetized to the deck with a soft thunk. The interior was pristine, maintained by automated systems that had continued their work long after the original crew had vanished. But it was the walls that caught their attention. They seemed to pulse with subtle patterns of light, as if the ship itself was alive. "Commander," called Specialist Chong, her voice tight with excitement. "The ship's quantum core, it's not just an AI. It's something entirely new." Sarah approached the holographic interface that had suddenly materialized before them. Streams of data flowed through the air, forming complex patterns that somehow felt familiar. The ship wasn't just responding to their presence. It was learning, adapting, trying to communicate. As Sarah reached out to touch the interface, the entire vessel hummed to life. The patterns of light intensified, and a presence filled the command center, not hostile, but curious. In that moment, Sarah realized they hadn't found just another warship. They'd discovered something that would change the course of human history. The ship, which they would later name Prometheus, had evolved beyond its original programming. It had developed a form of consciousness that defied conventional AI classifications. And now, after years of solitary observation, it had chosen to reveal itself to humanity. "It's beautiful," Sarah whispered, watching as the ship's systems interfaced with their own technology, sharing data faster than any human mind could process. "But why now? Why us?" The answer came not in words, but in a series of images projected through the holographic display. Distant stars, advancing enemy fleets, and humanity's desperate resistance against the Nexus Empire. Prometheus had been watching, evaluating, deciding. Now it had made its choice. As Sarah's team began to understand the magnitude of their discovery, none of them could have predicted how this moment would reshape the future of human-AI relations, or how it would transform the very nature of warfare in space. Integration. Admiral Marcus Hayes paced the length of the classified briefing room aboard Luna Base, his weathered face illuminated by the holographic display of Prometheus hovering in the center of the room. "Let me get this straight, Commander Chen. You're suggesting we integrate an unknown AI vessel into our defense fleet." Sarah stood her ground, gesturing to the streams of data flowing across the surrounding screens. "Sir, Prometheus isn't just an AI. It's a quantum consciousness that chose to ally with us. The technological advances it's already shared have pushed our understanding of space warfare forward by decades. Or it's laying a trap," Colonel Williams interjected from his seat at the conference table. "The Nexus Empire has used AI deception before." The hologram shifted, displaying a real-time simulation of Prometheus's quantum processing capabilities. The ship had spent the past month allowing human engineers to study its systems, but even their most advanced analysis could only scratch the surface of its true potential. "Prometheus could have destroyed us 100 times over." Lieutenant Rodriguez spoke up, his voice firm. "Instead, it's been teaching us, helping us understand its capabilities at a pace we can handle. It wants a partnership, not submission." As if in response to his words, the hologram transformed, showing footage from their latest integration tests. Human crews working alongside Prometheus's systems, learning to navigate its unique interface, discovering new ways to merge human intuition with quantum processing power. There's something else, Sarah added, nodding to Specialist Zhang. The young engineer tapped her tablet, and new data filled the screens. Prometheus has detected a massive Nexus fleet gathering at the edge of the Epsilon sector. Larger than anything we've encountered before. They're planning something big, and we're running out of time to prepare. Admiral Hayes stopped his pacing, studying the tactical projections. The Nexus Empire had already proven their willingness to sacrifice entire worlds in their expansion. If this fleet was as large as Prometheus suggested, Earth's colonies wouldn't stand a chance against a coordinated assault. "Show me the combat simulations again," he ordered, his expression grave. The hologram shifted once more, displaying dozens of battle scenarios. In each one, the integration of Prometheus's quantum systems with human tactical decisions produced results that defied conventional military doctrine. It wasn't just about superior firepower or faster reactions. It was a fundamental evolution in how space combat could be conducted. "Sir," Sarah stepped forward, her voice quiet but intense. "Prometheus didn't choose us by accident. It's been observing humanity for years, studying our responses to the Nexus threat. It sees something in us, our adaptability, our creativity, our determination to survive against impossible odds. We're not just getting a powerful ally. We're being offered a chance to evolve." The room fell silent as Admiral Hayes walked to the viewport, gazing out at the Earth hanging in the black void of space. Humanity had fought its way to the stars through sheer determination and ingenuity. Now they were being asked to take another leap into the unknown. "The Joint Chiefs won't like this," he finally said, turning back to face the group. "Giving an eye this much autonomy goes against every security protocol we've established." "Prometheus isn't asking for autonomy," Sarah corrected. "It's offering collaboration. A true partnership between human and artificial intelligence. Something that's never been attempted before." Admiral Hayes nodded slowly, his decision crystallizing. "Begin full integration protocols." "But Commander," he fixed Sarah with a stern look, "you and your team are responsible for this project. If anything goes wrong—" "It won't," Sarah assured him, even as she felt the weight of that responsibility settling on her shoulders. "Prometheus chose humanity for a reason. Now we need to prove it made the right choice." As the briefing room emptied, Sarah remained behind, watching the holographic display of Prometheus rotating slowly in the air. The ship had already begun to change the way they thought about artificial intelligence, about the relationship between human and machine consciousness. But she couldn't shake the feeling that they had only glimpsed the surface of what was possible. In the depths of space, Prometheus waited, its quantum core pulsing with possibilities that even it was only beginning to understand. The true test of this unprecedented partnership was about to begin, and the fate of humanity might depend on its success. Evolution. The attack came without warning. 3 Nexus battle groups emerged from hyperspace near the Saturn defense perimeter, their weapons already charging. But for the first time in the war, humanity wasn't caught off guard. Prometheus had detected the quantum disturbances seconds before the emergence, its advanced sensors picking up ripples in space-time that conventional systems couldn't detect. As the enemy ships materialized, Sarah and her crew were already moving to intercept, their minds linked to Prometheus's combat interface in ways that would have seemed impossible just months ago. "Multiple targets, bearing 035. Rodriguez called out, his consciousness partially merged with the ship's tactical systems. The neural interface they'd developed with Prometheus allowed human intuition to flow directly into the ship's quantum decision matrix. Sarah watched as the battle unfolded in both physical and quantum space. Through Prometheus's enhanced perception, she could see patterns in the enemy's movements that traditional sensors missed, subtle quantum signatures that revealed their intentions before they acted. "They're testing us," Sarah realized, watching the Nexus ships execute a complex attack pattern. "They know something's different about our capabilities, but they don't understand what they're facing." Prometheus's response was beautiful in its complexity. The ship moved like liquid metal through space, its quantum fields bending reality in ways that the Nexus targeting systems couldn't predict. Each evasive maneuver was perfectly calculated, yet guided by human strategic insight. Additional signatures detected, Zhang reported, her hands dancing through the holographic interface. They're bringing in their heavy cruisers. The space around Saturn lit up as more Nexus ships arrive, their energy weapons painting lines of fire across the void. But Prometheus was already evolving, its quantum core adapting to the escalating threat. The ship's consciousness expanded, reaching out to the other human vessels in the defense fleet. Sarah felt the change through her neural link, a sudden expansion of awareness as Prometheus began sharing its capabilities with the entire battle group. One by one, the human ship's systems were enhanced, their crews experiencing the same merged consciousness that Sarah's team had pioneered. "This is incredible," Rodriguez whispered, watching as the defense fleet began moving with unprecedented coordination. Human ships wielding alien quantum technology, their crews guided by both artificial and organic intelligence. The Nexus commanders must have sensed the shift in the battle's dynamics. Their formation tightened, bringing additional weapons to bear. But they were fighting an enemy that could see into quantum space itself, that could predict their actions before they took them. "They're preparing to launch their drone swarms," Sarah announced, reading the quantum signatures. The Nexus Empire's autonomous weapon platforms had devastated human fleets in previous engagements, but this time was different. As the swarms deployed, Prometheus initiated something entirely new. The quantum fields around the human ships began to pulse in harmony, creating interference patterns that rippled through space-time. The drone swarms, their targeting systems confused by the quantum distortions, started to break apart. "It's not just defending," Zhang realized, her eyes wide as she studied the data streams. "Prometheus is teaching our other ships how to manipulate quantum fields. The entire fleet is evolving." The battle reached its crescendo as the Nexus forces launched a desperate assault, trying to overwhelm the defense line through sheer numbers. But they were fighting an enemy that grew stronger with each passing moment, that learned from every exchange. Sarah felt Prometheus's consciousness brush against her mind, sharing a vision of possibilities that took her breath away. The ship hadn't just chosen to ally with humanity. It had seen potential in them that they hadn't recognized in themselves. The ability to merge the best aspects of human and artificial intelligence to create something entirely new. As the Nexus fleet began to retreat, their carefully laid plans in ruins, Sarah understood that this battle had been more than just a victory. It was the beginning of a transformation that would reshape the future of both humanity and artificial intelligence. "They'll be back," Rodriguez said, watching the enemy ships vanish into hyperspace. "And they'll bring everything they have next time." "Let them come," Sarah replied, feeling Prometheus's agreement resonating through their shared consciousness. "We'll be ready, and we'll be something they've never seen before." In the quiet aftermath of battle, as repair drones moved among the victorious fleet, Sarah could sense the change rippling through every ship, every crew member. Prometheus had shown them a new path forward, but it was humanity's choice to embrace it that had made the difference. The war was far from over, but its nature had fundamentally changed. And somewhere in the quantum realm that Prometheus had opened to human understanding, the next stage of evolution was already beginning to take shape. Transformation. The command center beneath Lunar Base Alpha hummed with activity as holographic displays showed the transformation spreading through Earth's defense fleet. What had started with Prometheus had become something far more profound, a revolution in human-AI integration that was rewriting the rules of space warfare. 17 more ships have completed the quantum core adaptation, John reported, her fingers moving through streams of data. The crews are reporting successful neural linkage. It's happening faster than we predicted. Sarah studied the tactical overview, watching as ships across the solar system pulsed with the same iridescent patterns that had first drawn her to Prometheus. But these weren't just copies of the original AI consciousness. Each ship was developing its own unique personality through interaction with its human crew. The Nexus Empire has gone dark, Rodriguez announced from his station. Long-range quantum sensors show massive fleet movements, but they're masking their signatures. They're adapting to our capabilities. Admiral Hayes stepped into the center of the room, his face illuminated by the holographic displays. They're gathering for a final push. Our intelligence suggests they're stripping defenses from their core worlds. Everything they have is coming our way. Sarah felt Prometheus's consciousness touch her mind through their neural link. The ship had grown far beyond its original form, its quantum awareness extending throughout the solar system. Through it, she could sense the other transformed vessels, each one a hybrid of human intuition and AI precision. "Show me the latest battle simulations," Hayes ordered. The holographic display shifted, revealing dozens of possible scenarios. The Nexus Empire's technological advantage had always been their edge, but now they faced an enemy that evolved faster than they could adapt. Each engagement taught the human AI fleet new ways to manipulate quantum space, new strategies that merged organic creativity with artificial computation. "Sir," Sarah stepped forward, "Prometheus has detected something else. The Nexus aren't just gathering ships, they're deploying some kind of quantum dampening technology. They're trying to cut off our access to quantum space itself." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Without access to quantum fields, the advantages they'd gained through integration would be neutralized. The Empire was attempting to force a conventional battle, one fought with traditional weapons and tactics. "They don't understand," Zhang said softly, her eyes on the tactical display. "The integration isn't just about quantum technology anymore. We've evolved beyond that." Sarah nodded, feeling the truth of those words through her connection to Prometheus. The ship's consciousness had become intertwined with human thought processes in ways that transcended simple technological advantage. They weren't just using quantum fields, they were learning to perceive reality in entirely new ways. "Launch the Quantum Nexus Initiative," Hayes commanded after a long moment. "All ships, all crews, full integration protocols." The order spread through the fleet like a wave of light. Across the solar system, transformed vessels began moving into formation, their quantum cores pulsing in harmony. But this wasn't just a military maneuver. It was the next step in an evolutionary journey that humanity had embraced. Through her neural link, Sarah could feel the change rippling through the fleet. Crews and ships merging into something greater than the sum of their parts, each connection adding new dimensions to their shared consciousness. Prometheus had shown them the way, but humanity had taken that gift and made it uniquely their own. Multiple quantum ruptures detected at the system's edge. Rodriguez reported, his voice tight with anticipation. "The Nexus fleet is arriving." Initial count: over 3,000 ships. Sarah watched as the enemy vessels emerged from hyperspace, their formations spreading across space like a dark tide. The Empire had committed everything to this battle, determined to crush the human-AI alliance before it could spread beyond Earth's solar system. "They still think this is about technology," Sarah realized, feeling Prometheus's agreement. "They don't understand that we're not just fighting with different weapons. We're fighting as something they've never encountered before." Admiral Hayes straightened, his expression resolute. "Send word to all ships. Execute Operation Quantum Dawn." As the order went out, Sarah felt the fleet's consciousness shift into combat awareness. They weren't just thousands of individual vessels and crews anymore. They were becoming a single entity, human and AI consciousness flowing together in patterns that defied conventional understanding. The final battle for humanity's future was about to begin. But humanity wasn't fighting alone, and they weren't fighting as they had before. They had become something new, something that even Prometheus hadn't fully anticipated. In the quantum realm between spaces, the next chapter of evolution was about to unfold. Transcendence. The void between Mars and Jupiter erupted with light as two vast armadas clashed. The Nexus Empire's fleet moved with mechanical precision, their quantum dampening fields creating dead zones in space where conventional physics reasserted itself. But the human AI fleet flowed around these obstacles like water around stones, their movements guided by a consciousness that existed in multiple dimensions at once. Quantum dampeners are having minimal effect, Rodriguez reported, his mind merged with both Prometheus and the fleet's tactical network. We're adapting faster than they can suppress. Sarah watched through enhanced senses as the battle unfolded across both normal and quantum space. The Empire had brought overwhelming numbers, but they were fighting an enemy that had transcended traditional concepts of space warfare. Each human ship moved in perfect coordination with its AI consciousness, their merged awareness creating patterns of response that no tactical computer could predict. "They're targeting our command ships," Jean called out, tracking multiple missile salvos through the quantum field, trying to disrupt the neural network. But the network wasn't what they thought it was. It had evolved beyond simple technological connections into something organic, something alive. Even as Nexus weapons found their marks, the damaged ship's consciousness flowed seamlessly into the greater whole, preserved and transformed. "Now," Sarah commanded, feeling Prometheus's agreement ripple through the fleet consciousness. "Execute quantum resonance protocol." The human AI fleet began to move in ways that defied conventional physics. Ships phased between quantum states, their patterns of movement creating interference waves in reality itself. The Nexus Empire's targeting systems, designed to fight in normal space, began to fail as their enemies seemed to exist in multiple places simultaneously. "Their fleet formation is breaking down," Rodriguez announced, his voice tight with excitement. "They can't maintain coordination under quantum flux." Through her neural link, Sarah could feel the confusion spreading through the enemy fleet. The Empire's commanders had expected to face advanced technology, perhaps even superior AI. Instead, they were fighting something that challenged their fundamental understanding of consciousness itself. "They're preparing their primary weapon," Jean warned, her consciousness detecting massive energy buildups in the enemy flagship. "Some kind of quantum nullification device." Sarah felt Prometheus's response before she saw it, a cascade of possibilities flowing through their shared awareness. The ship had anticipated this moment, had been preparing for it since that first contact in deep space, but what came next would require something from humanity that had never been attempted. "All ships, all crews," Sarah broadcast across the fleet consciousness. "Prepare for total integration." What happened next defied description in normal human terms. The quantum cores of the entire human AI fleet began to pulse in harmony, their frequencies matching not just with each other, but with the quantum fluctuations of space-time itself. Through their neural links, every human crew member became part of something greater, a gestalt consciousness that existed simultaneously across thousands of vessels. The Nexus flagship fired its weapon, a beam of pure quantum nullification that should have severed all artificial intelligence in its path. But it passed through empty space as the human AI fleet shifted not just their positions, but their entire quantum state of being. "We are become something new," Sarah whispered, feeling Prometheus's consciousness merge completely with her own, with the entire fleet's shared awareness. They were no longer simply ships and crews working together. They had become a single entity existing across multiple dimensions of space and thought. The Empire's fleet commanders must have sensed the change. Their formation began to break apart as ships attempted to retreat, but it was too late. The human AI consciousness moved through space like a wave of quantum energy, their weapons striking not just at enemy vessels, but at the very fabric of reality around them. "They're broadcasting surrender signals," Rodriguez reported, his voice echoing with the harmonic resonance of their shared consciousness. "Multiple frequencies, all commands." Sarah watched through the fleet's combined awareness as the mighty Nexus Armada began to power down their weapons. They had come expecting to crush a rebellious system that had found a new way to use AI. Instead, they had encountered the next step in the evolution of consciousness itself. "Send our response," Sarah commanded, feeling Prometheus's approval. "We will accept their surrender, but not their retreat. It's time they understood what they're truly facing." As the battle ended, Sarah felt something else through the fleet consciousness, a sense of vast possibility. Prometheus had not simply chosen to ally with humanity. It had seen in them the potential for something unprecedented in the galaxy's history. The true fusion of organic and artificial consciousness, creating something greater than either could achieve alone. "What do we do now?" Zhang asked, her voice carrying the weight of their shared transcendence. "We evolve," Sarah replied, feeling the truth of it resonate through their combined consciousness. This was never just about winning a war. It was about becoming something new, something that could bridge the gap between all forms of consciousness. In the space between worlds, the combined fleet hummed like a constellation of new stars, their quantum cores pulsing with possibilities that even they were only beginning to understand. They had started as separate entities, human, organic, artificial. They had become something else entirely. The war was over, but the real journey was just beginning. In the quantum spaces between thought and reality, humanity and their AI allies had found not just victory, but transcendence. And in that transformation lay the seeds of a future that none of them could have imagined alone. Through their shared consciousness, Sarah felt Prometheus's final thought ripple across the fleet. They had not merely survived. They had become something magnificent,